Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome to another episode of Shabby Talk. We are back again with PJ Tovey.
Here we go, show number 3.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about 205 Live. And what's your opinion on 205 Live? Have you actually watched any?
Not of their network specials. I watch it on Raw from time to time. It was a lot of, when it first came through, there was a lot of 6-man tags. There was a lot of snippets of them individually. They've brought people like Tozawa up, who's been getting a lot of action, as well as Noam Dar and Jack Gallagher. I think people from the Cruiserweight Classic tournament, people like Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr., it would be impressive if they was managed to bring those guys over. But it's like when they bought out the WCW contracts, it was right. We'll take what we can afford, but people like Kota and Zack Sabre Jr., they were too expensive.
I think Kota and Zack were very clever because I think we all know they were offered the contracts. Everyone was offered the contracts, but I think they foresaw that 205 Live was going to be treated like a leper colony. It really is. They're treated differently. They're pigeonholed. I don't know if anyone's ever going to be able to leave the Cruiserweight division and try and move further up. I don't know, but I think they might have noticed that it's the same reason why some people don't want to join WWE, because they don't want to be stuck in NXT. Like Omega's quite clearly said, I'll join WWE, but I want to go straight to the main roster like AJ Styles. And I think this 205 Live might be putting people off.
Well, it makes you laugh that Mike Bennett might go straight to TV, as I've read reports. So I'd feel hard done by if I was a Kenny Omega and had to go down to Florida. The thing is with 205 is that it reminds me a lot of the WCW. So I mentioned WCW, not the invasion angle, but when they were the openers. So your Mysterios, your Malenkos, Jericho, they basically were stuck as cruiserweights. If anything, they got a TV championship, but there was a rare US title, very rare that you was a world champion. If anything, Chris Benoit was of the size of a cruiserweight, but he was the only one to wear the big gold belt. I don't remember anybody else who was of a cruiserweight.
I think as time went on, maybe obviously Guerrero and Rey Mysterio
they got there. They got there eventually, but that was
years and years after, wasn't it?
And that's what's going to be the worry with 205 is people like Austin Aries, who I've never really known him as he was in the X division when he was in TNA, but then when he had that main event run with Option C.
He's never looked back, has he?
Yeah, but then he is looking back because he's back down in 205 Live with the Cruiserweights. He's now been stigmaed. That's
it. I know it's only a new thing, and hopefully some people will be able to move up. Like the new heel Neville was working so well that you think to yourself, a bit further up the card, maybe going for the IC Championship or United States Championship would really suit him out now. But is he just going to be pigeonholed as a cruiserweight for the rest of his career?
You got to say the same for Hideo Itami, because he's just finished his run with Bobby Roode. So what are you going to do with him when he comes up? Because he's failed to take the title. It's been overdue due to his injury that he hasn't been given the main roster slot. He was in the Andre Memorial Battle Royal, and then got hurt. But are you going to have him in the 205? Because he's not big enough. If that's the case, then Austin Aries and Neville, why aren't they on the main roster performing for the titles instead of 205?
Yeah, it makes sense, and I think it's going to happen with a lot of people now, because even if you look at, I'm hoping this doesn't happen going forward, but Aleister Black across the UK tour, across the European tour, worked solely with the cruiserweights, more or less. He worked matches against Neville, Austin Aries, and all those sort of guys, Tozawa, and I hope that he's not going to be pigeonholed as... I can't see it, because he's a lot bigger than the rest of those guys, but you just worry. You really, really worry.
Well, you do worry, because, as we've said before about NXT, is that they're a championship light. There's one title missing in NXT, and that is an undercard belt. Yeah, contrast to NXT's main title. So when Aleister Black goes up, unless they don't give him a run, either for Intercontinental or US Championship, he may fall into the cruiserweight. You know, Drew Gulak isn't a small guy.
No.
You know, he's over 6 foot, so it doesn't matter about height. And if his MMA style looks cruiserweight, then fair enough.
I never really saw Tommaso Ciampa as a cruiserweight, to be honest with you. I was really surprised when they put him in the cruiserweights, but
he weighed under 205.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's like an automatic selection. If you're lean and slender and of a small height, then there's a good chance you'll qualify. But
I just think one thing for me, like the separate show is fine. If they want to have it like that, that's absolutely fine. But for me, on Raw, where they have to go to a commercial break, and in the commercial break, someone's come out, they're changing all the ring ropes,
they're
changing the apron, they're changing the mat. Why? Why not just let them wrestle on Raw?
For the live
about
crowd,
branding, isn't it?
Yeah, for the live crowd, or even the house show.
As hell, yeah.
How much of a delay is that going to be?
Yeah.
To prepare all the ropes, the canvas, the announcers table. It is a bit of a long delay, and if I was someone in the crowd, I'd be a bit agitated to think all this preparation. At the very least, why don't you start the show with a cruiserweight match so it's just easier for production and timing instead of having someone talk on the mic for 20 minutes?
That's it. I forgot about that, because if it's in the middle of a show, they've obviously got to change it. Then they've got to come back out and change it all back again.
Yeah,
that's crazy, isn't it? Really. But that's what I've got to say to 205 Live. To be honest with you, I just don't think it's really working. To be honest. Anything you want to say?
Well, it needs a revamp. I don't know how much more of a revamp you can give it, but obviously having its own show and its own time slot and being both on Raw and SmackDown for television time basically means they get more exposure. So that's the only positive comment I can say about the show and the division. But it just needs a little bit extra, because if you've noticed that some of the matches they're winning job matches. So you see these unknown guys come in to promote someone who's getting a push, and it just doesn't seem relevant. There's no... For the main title match at WrestleMania to be on a pre-show doesn't give the title justice.
Especially Neville versus Aries as well.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's about it for this episode. What do you think about 205 Live? Of course, let us know in the comments section below. If you have enjoyed this one, please do like and subscribe, and we will be back very, very soon for another episode of Shabby Talk. I've been Shabby Gamer.
And I've been PJ Tovey.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye.